Welcome back to the deep dive. We're here to, take these sometimes dense philosophical texts and pull out insights that really resonate. Today we're diving into a really pivotal section of the Yoga Vasishtha, chapters 5 through 8. This is where Vasishtha uses a fascinating story to explore creation, illusion, and desire. And our main focus is going to be on Purusharth, this idea of self-effort, purposeful action by looking closely at the story of the sage Shukra, or Bhargava. It's quite a journey he goes on.
It really is. And it's crucial because Vasishtha uses Shukra's tale to answer Rama's fundamental question. How can this illusory world feel so incredibly vivid, so real to the mind? Shukra's experience is presented as the living answer. It demonstrates precisely how these intense mental creations take on the appearance of, well, solid reality.
Right. And the story immediately sets up this powerful contrast, which really frames the whole idea of Purusharth, doesn't it? You have Shukadeva on one hand, immediate wisdom, saw the illusion, rejected it, boom, liberation, effortless almost. And then there's Shukra. He goes the other way entirely, gets completely sucked into the illusion. And because of that, he ends up cycling through ages of suffering, samsara, until eventually that very suffering pushes him towards letting go, towards renunciation. It really shows the weight of unchecked desire.
And cost, yeah.
Okay, let's unpack this then. Starting with that first moment, Shukra's distraction. He's deep in spiritual practice on Mount Mandara, fully focused. And then the celestial nymph, an apsara, appears. The text makes a point of saying it wasn't just her tempting him.
No, it emphasizes mutual attraction. That spark ignites desire in both of them, and instantly Shukra's focus shatters. His penance is disrupted.
And the disruption isn't like external, it's all happening inside his head, isn't it?
Entirely mental. And this is where Vasishtha really defines Maya in action. Shukra doesn't just notice her and move on. He gets completely consumed by this intense longing. All that powerful mental energy he was using for austerity, it gets redirected. He starts building this incredibly detailed fantasy world inside his mind. And Vasishtha makes this radical claim here. The external world itself is just a mental projection. Shukra's fantasy. It's the perfect example, a small-scale version of how reality itself works, according to this text.
And the detail Vasishtha goes into in chapter 6 about this mental construct. It's not just a vague daydream. It's incredibly specific. He imagines entering Indra's paradise, Indraloka, seeing golden lotuses, the celestial Mandakini River. He's welcomed, honored, living this life of luxury among the gods. It's vivid.
It's completely immersive, a full sensory experience, status included. The text explicitly calls this vision a mirror of Maya. It's like a dream, but projected from all his unfulfilled desires for pleasure, yes, but also for recognition, for status. So the key takeaway here is how Shukra's own mind generates a reality so compelling it completely craps him. It proves that this inner landscape of desire and imagination is just as real, just as impactful, maybe even more binding than the external world we perceive.
So if your own consciousness can create a reality that binds you,
then liberation has to involve mastering that consciousness. That's the implication for Purusharth. Where do you direct your effort? What's fascinating here, moving into chapter 7, is how the text breaks down the components of this attachment. It's not just one simple desire causing the problem. Shukra's illusion is fueled by, really, two powerful intertwined forces. Different flavors of attachment, you could say.
Okay, so there's the obvious one, the immediate sensual attraction, the apsara. The sources use her as a symbol for kama, right? That fleeting sensory pleasure.
Exactly. That's the spark, the initial pull.
But the setting matters too. Indra's heaven.
Immensely.
Yeah.
Indraloka isn't just a backdrop, it's a metaphor. It represents that ego-driven side of spiritual ambition, the craving for status, for power, for glory, even in a spiritual context.
So he's not just after pleasure, he wants that pleasure validated by the highest possible status.
Precisely. He wants the best of both worlds, you might say. Pleasure combined with supreme honor and recognition. It's a potent mix.
They feed each other then, these two desires. Indulgence within a framework of ultimate luxury and acceptance. It's like a perfect trap.
A perfect feedback loop of attachment, yes.
Yeah.
And both are incredibly strong spiritual binders. The text really emphasizes this with some vivid symbolic language.
Like the description of their union, using nature metaphors.
Yes, like the moonstone melting under moonlight. It's beautiful, evocative language.
Just suggesting something intense, passionate, but also temporary, something that dissolves.
Exactly. It highlights the ephemeral nature of any experience rooted purely in desire. No matter how intense it feels, it lacks true substance, true stability. It's destined to fade.
And then comes the critical moment.
Yeah.
The text specifically notes that nightfall happens right as they fully give in to this desire.
And Vasishtha leaves no room for doubt about the symbolism. Nightfall here means avidya, ignorance. The spiritual error, the fall, isn't just having the desire. It's acting on it when the light of wisdom, of discrimination, is completely obscured by passion, acting in that darkness.
That's the key distinction then, not the thought, but acting blindly on it.
Yes. And the consequence is immediate. Brutal, as you said. Because the whole thing was an illusion held together by desire, the merit of these imagined actions just evaporates.
Oof.
Instantly, both Shukra and the apsara, their imagined forms dissolve and they fall right back into the cycle, back into samsara, the wheel of earthly births and deaths.
So the lesson is crystal clear. Unchecked desire, especially when combined with ignorance, just keeps the suffering going. It fuels rebirth. It's the exact opposite application of Purushartha effort directed wrongly leads straight into bondage.
Perfectly put.
Here's where it gets really interesting, though, as we move into Chapter 8. Because the consequence isn't just, go back to start. The fall kicks off this whole series of reincarnations, and it shows how those powerful mental images, those attachments, literally become the seeds for future lives.
Yes, the blueprints.
And the path his essence takes. It's wild. First, reborn as vegetables.
Plant life.
Then those vegetables get eaten, and he's reborn as the son of a Brahmin. Then he's a sage, then a powerful king, then back to being a hermit. It's this almost dizzying cycle through high and low forms.
It really is dizzying.
Yeah.
And it illustrates that these lives aren't some steady climb towards enlightenment. They are the direct results, the karmic fallout of the vasanas, those lingering mental impressions, the desires he cultivated so intensely in that fantasy. Karma here isn't so much about reward and punishment, it's more like momentum. The mind carries these imprints, and they shape where it goes next.
High status like a king, low status like a plant.
Well,
It's all driven by the energy of those past attachments.
exactly.
And the text points out different kinds of attachments too, doesn't it? We focus on the apsara initially.
Right, the intense sensual desire.
But later, even when he's reborn as a sage, supposedly on the right path, he gets deeply attached to his son born from a doe. And that attachment pulls him off course again.
That's such a crucial insight. It shows that binding attachment isn't just about passionate sensual desire. It can wear the disguise of something seemingly noble, like parental love.
Right.
But if that attachment, no matter how loving it seems, causes you to lose sight of the ultimate goal liberation, then functionally, it binds you just as strongly as the desire for the apsara did.
Any deep attachment then, pleasure, status, power, even family. If it prevents detachment, it keeps you stuck in samsara.
That's the teaching. It all prevents the final letting go necessary to break the cycle.
So Shukra finally breaks free only after experiencing all of this again and again over ages.
Yes, the text implies it's a long, hard learning curve. His final return to being a hermit, to austerity, isn't just another life phase. It represents the necessary means to liberation. It comes from a place of complete exhaustion with the cycle, a deep understanding, born of suffering, of the futility of chasing desires. He finally learns detachment, but only through experiencing the full consequences of attachment.
Okay, let's try and connect this idea, Shukra building this incredibly real world inside his head, to our world today. The sources actually draw a parallel with things like virtual reality, the metaverse.
It's a startlingly relevant parallel, isn't it? If Maya is fundamentally a mind-made projection, a dream woven from unfulfilled desires, then what are these immersive digital technologies? They're literally platforms designed to help us create highly personalized, convincing, constructed realities.
Shukra built his own private Indraloka in his mind.
And we're building our own customized digital versions, aren't we? Environments designed to satisfy whatever latent desires we have for status, connection, escape, luxury. It's Maya, facilitated by technology.
And you can even map the philosophical ideas onto modern psychology, like addiction. Shukra's story checks all the boxes, really.
It absolutely does. You see the intense craving, the mental obsession, the complete disruption of his life's purpose, his penance.
And the cyclical pattern leading to negative consequences, the repeated rebirths.
Modern addiction theory echoes this ancient framework. Intense desire, mental preoccupation, goals derailed, a repeating cycle with harmful outcomes. Vasishtha gave us a spiritual psychology centuries ago. It shows how the mind's power to create attractive realities and then our tendency to get attached to those creations is the fundamental binding mechanism. Shukra's story is this powerful demonstration that Purushartha, true self-effort, needs to be directed inward, towards detachment, not outward achievement.
And that really brings us back to the core difference between Shukra and Shukadeva. It was the ability to see the illusion for what it was and detach.
Instantly, in Shukadeva's case. He saw it, understood it wasn't real in the ultimate sense, and just let it go. No effort needed, almost.
Whereas Shukra, he had to live through the illusion, experience its full weight, its consequences over countless lives to finally reach that same understanding, that same detachment.
He learned the hard way.
Wow, what an incredible exploration of Purushartha through Shukra's story. We've seen how desire can literally build worlds in the mind, how easily we get trapped by pleasure and ambition, and how ultimately, it seems, only letting go, renunciation, breaks that cycle of suffering.
And if Vasishtha's core premise holds that the entire universe we experience is fundamentally a mental projection, a kind of collective dream, and that wisdom lies in waking up from that dream, seeing through the mind's creations, well, then it does raise a rather pointed question for us, doesn't it? This raises an important question. Given how vividly Shukra experienced his internal fantasy, and how readily we engage with and get attached to our modern, external, technology-driven, constructed realities, how much of what we perceive as our solid external world is already functioning as our own personalized Maya? How much of our daily striving is driven by these subconscious, unfulfilled desires, keeping us cycling through patterns, maybe without even realizing it, until we consciously choose to apply our effort towards seeing through it all?
That is definitely something powerful to chew on. Go explore that space between effort and illusion, and we'll see you next time on The Deep Dive.